I'm delighted to be joined now by Mayo footballer Padraig O'Hora at the launch of SuperValu's #Community Includes Everyone campaign. Now in their 13th year of supporting the GAA All-Ireland Senior Football Championship, SuperValu is once again calling on each and every member of GAA communities across the country to do what they can do to make sure that the community is more diverse and inclusive. Padraig, delighted to have you on the show. How are things with you?
Yeah, very well. Nice sunny day here now. Rain went away, so all is good.
Yeah, absolutely. John, I'm just going to launch straight into it. I have to ask you about the Ultimate Hell Week. I know it's a couple of years ago now. Maybe you're blue in the face talking about it. But having watched the series in the meantime as well, it just looks like torture. Like, do you ever look back on it? Do you ever think about it? Has it ever crossed your mind?
Yeah, like I'm probably like yourself. I'm actually watching the season as it goes now. Like first of all, it's great viewership, isn't it? Like it's quality TV. Like they do a great job of it, and it's just enjoyable to watch. It's even more enjoyable there with a cup of tea and on the couch, not worrying. Like watching it back that time, I found it really hard.
Really?
You know, it's really you're just really anxious because you only see what you see. You know what I mean? You perceive it the way. Like I thought that experience went different in certain things, and then they came up on the TV, and I was like, that's not how I recall it, because well, you're sleep deprived, you're hungry, and you're all over the shop. So like. I'm really enjoying it. I do reflect back on it here, there, and everywhere. It was a good experience, you know.
Yeah, because I was reading back an article about it just to jog my memory before we chatted, and it was like an 8-day-long slog based on the Irish Army's Elite Ranger Wing selection course, and there's a failure rate north of 90%. I mean, it really is kind of the biggest possible test you could get. I presume both mentally and physically.
Yeah, it's right up there. Like I don't see how you get to that level again. Like they put you in some serious situations, and like in fairness to them, like you think because it's on TV that maybe like there's a little bit of softness off camera, or there's a little bit of there's not. They just don't have enough time to show all the pain they put you through. Like you spend most of the day in a squat position or doing push-ups or crawling on the ground. So it is what it is. I tell you what it is. It's a great experience for anybody that kind of isn't sure. Like the only part I didn't like is that it was going to be on TV and you were going to be exposed to it. But I mean, as a personal growth experience, like it's fantastic. You learn a lot about yourself.
Did it leave any scars though? Because it just sounds awful.
No, like physically I was beat up. I struggled sleeping for a few days, no doubt. I think that was after, the last bit with the noise and that stuff. So I got a few nightmares. But like, again, so Motive Television or the production that run it, they provide psychological support after it. And like, you're actually very well looked after, in fairness to them. I don't think you're at any great risk, but like what I took out of it, I took a lot more out of it than it took off me.
Yeah. How close were you at any point to just saying, hey, I'm out?
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah.
A few more times than like day 2. Like just the logs pushing, like my arms were gone, like I couldn't do it anymore, and I thought that meant all right, I have to quit. Like, so there was a minute or two where I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore, and then that passed, and then I don't know, there was another time there where I was struggling, and you think about it for a while, and then it passes, and I went hypothermic in the last few days, and that actually probably helped me, if anything, like because I was more concerned about my health than I was, I better pull out. You can put your mind somewhere else. Like, it was funny.
Yeah, because I see that there was like some of the interrogation methods were first employed by the British Army and later deemed illegal by the European Court of Human Rights. Do you have to like sign off on something to say, yeah, I'm okay with this?
Yeah, there's a bit of a contract there before you go agreeing to anything, but like, yeah, like it's tough. Like there's no way around it, On the bright side, I suppose, like it's not the Irish Ranger Wing, like I'm sure them boys are probably looking at it going, yeah, like fair play to you, you've gone through a bit, but like they go through probably 6 or 9 months of that,
And did you ever kind of think, well, maybe this could be a direction I could move with in terms of like, I know you've worked for Western Care and do that sort of stuff, but did you ever think this is a direction I could move in?
No, I think maybe there was a bit of drive in the sense of, maybe I could have done this if I went at it when I was like 19 or 20. Do you know, like it was a thought that I never went that direction, nor I gave it thought, but I never really gave it much thought. But at that age, then I was like, it'd be nice to see if maybe I had what it takes to give it a crack. And I'd like to think I probably could be there or thereabouts, but at the same time, like they're tough lads. Like they go some distance.
Yeah, well, you're hardy enough because you were one 3 of 28 who managed to do it or complete it, so that's fair going. Can I ask you then about your kind of dabbling with MMA and what got you into that? How much did you like it? Where did that even start?
Yeah, so like I boxed and I would have done a lot of karate as a young lad. Like it would have been a big part of my life. So I gave up football for 2 years. Well, I didn't intentionally put 2 years on it, but like I stopped playing football to take a break and go back at some of the things I enjoyed. So in terms of MMA, it was like I've competed in a load of different mixed martial arts. I hadn't competed in MMA. There was no real and there still is no kind of way of doing that, I suppose, from Ballina and Mayo. Like there's no setup for it. Like you'd want to be in Dublin or Limerick or even Galway. You'd want to be in a city where there's competitive fighters and people to train with. It just hasn't got that far reaching, I suppose, for say living in Ballina. If you wanted to go for it, you'd have to travel further afield. So what I done is I joined the jiu-jitsu club there. So I went back competing. Like I said, I boxed and a bit of kickboxing. I've competed in all different streams of martial arts, I suppose: boxing, kickboxing, karate, jiu-jitsu. And it's just something I enjoy. Like I love it. I'd love to do a bit more of it once the football kind of settles down. But like as it stands, it's all football.
And what do you think it is about you that Ultimate Hell Week appeals to you, that MMA and jiu-jitsu and all these different things appeal to you? What is it about your character that you enjoy that stuff?
I don't know. It's just I enjoy experience. Like it's enjoyable and it's growing. Like that is one thing even that really kind of drew me into jiu-jitsu was like it's very much like chess. You can learn every day. Like you just can keep getting better and better and better. Not that you can't do that with most things, but I mean, it's so vast. There's so much to learn that you could spend 10 years and still not really have it mastered. Like I know football, you could say the same thing, but I mean, in general, you know what I mean? You can kick pass, you can hand pass, you can solo and hop a ball. And there are loads of other variables, but I mean, in the likes of jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, it's much like chess. Like I said, there's millions of moves. It doesn't ever seem to end. So I kind of just like that whole concept of learning.
And do you feel like that any of those particular disciplines were you excelling in more than the others?
Like I'm fortunate in the sense that like I'm quite good at most things I try in regards to sports. Like I pick things up relatively quick. Like it would have been handy if that was academically too. I would have been flying, but it wasn't the case. But yeah, like in sports, I'm a quick learner, and a lot of stuff kind of translates over too. I think if I spent since I was able to walk, I've been kicking a football, I've been playing basketball, I've been like I started karate when I was like 6. So like all of them things have kind of accumulated to the fact that like I can kind of pick up more sports now and be relatively good. And then if I apply myself, I can probably be fairly good,
And is there the thrill of the competition or the thrill of being in a sport that's quite dangerous? Does that also appeal?
Possibly, yeah. Like it wouldn't be the be all and end all. Like, of course, like a bit of danger brings a bit of buzz to everything. But like we're sitting in Croke Park here today. Like there's no greater buzz than coming out here on All Ireland final day. There's no sense of danger. And like like I've played every sport under the sun, done all the dangerous stuff. Even the likes of water sports and hiking and climbing and all that jazz. But like if you look at my injury list there, it all belongs to GAA grounds, Right. So you'd wonder where the danger and risk actually is. Like,
yeah, because I'm like maybe this is me putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, but it kind of I get this sense of a bit of a thrill seeker there, and maybe I'm wrong though.
No, you're fairly on the money. Like there's an adrenaline junkie built into me. Like there's no doubt about that. Like,
yeah, and like so that relates to many different things, does it?
Yeah, I suppose it's probably just the way you're built, isn't it? Like I don't think I think about it a whole pile or dwell on it. Like it's just my nature, you know. I'm extremely hyperactive. I'm a giddy person, you know.
Yeah.
And
And
I
like,
suppose,
what would have been the sort of, I know you're saying most of your injuries came from Gaelic football, but what would have been the ropiest situations you had yourself in terms of like hiking or in a ring with somebody or an octagon or whatever?
I think water probably. Like I've done a bit of kayaking with different people and stuff, and I think people really need to respect water. Like I don't know my lifeguard qualifications as a teenager, and it taught me nothing more than respect water. You know, you can be as good a swimmer as you want, but like I think there's a huge risk. Like we're fortunate enough to have the sea beside us up Mayo, and like you have your lakes and rivers, and it's a great place. You know, all around Ireland, but like just to be conscious. I've been in a few sticky situations with people in the water. It can go pear-shaped really, really quick. So I've had a few experiences of that now, fortunate enough to get out of them. But like, so there's a message to relate to anybody is always be aware of
Okay.
what you're putting yourself into there, because Mother Nature waits for nobody.
Yeah, and is that's the sort of risk when you're an adrenaline junkie? You end up probably doing things where you're a bit like, this is a bit ropey.
Yeah. You have to be conscious, like, do you know what I mean? I suppose that comes with age there. And a 17 or 18-year-old me now would be having a different conversation with you, do you know?
Yeah, and do you sort of relate that to Gaelic football too? The whole sort of pitting yourself, the adrenaline. I mean, obviously, I presume you've run into David Clifford today. There was a lot made of your battle at Croke Park in the league final or whatever. But do you enjoy having to embrace a battle like, you know, against someone as good as him?
Yeah, like it's what you dream of. Like it's why you play football. You know, you want to be the best. You want to compete against the best. It's as simple as that. You wouldn't play intercounty football otherwise.
Mm.
So like David, chatting to him here today. Like again, another great fella, both on and off the field. We're both here to try and make a little bit of difference in regards to diversity and inclusion. And what SuperValu are trying to do at the moment is top class. I know they're into the second year now, and you've got David Goff and Collins here, a number of others, Maggie, the first female referee for the men's game. Like it's great to see it. It's great to be part of it. And I'm very grateful in terms of my role, I suppose. I'm like advocating for the neurodivergent group or community and see what we can do as a community GA to kind of engage them and make it more inclusive.
And like, you know, after the game you had against Kerry and David Clifford, would you love that challenge again? I mean, I was at the game, it was great. Like, obviously, it didn't go the way you wanted, and at times I felt you were left very exposed. But would you embrace that challenge again?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you did like. I would love to have replayed the game straight away. Of course you would. You know, like it wasn't the result we intended on, and such is life. But like, of course I would. I'd be more than happy to go at it again. And like, I suppose with GAA, you do get opportunities like that. What's important for me, I suppose, is just to fulfill my role to the team. You know, like my ego, my wants need to be secondary. They need to be put aside. Like it's about the team. It's about the collective. So like whatever role I'm given, be that to go and mark a certain man or to carry a water bottle, whatever that may be, it doesn't matter. Like it's just about, I suppose, applying yourself and doing that role for your team properly.
Yeah, and how much do you enjoy playing in front of 80,000 people at full Croke Park? I'm sure that's just brilliant.
It's class. Like it's unreal. It's deadly. Like when I kind of got into the intercounty scene, we kind of went into COVID like really quick. And then it was empty stadiums. And like there was a part of you that kind of accepted it and thought it was good. Like you kind of trick yourself into thinking, yeah, this is great. Because the pressure's off or whatever. But you soon realize that like the game is nothing without the atmosphere. You know, it's about experience. It's about energy. And like I love the noise. You know, like we had a couple of league games this year where there was huge noise. It's class. It makes it.
Yeah, it really does. I hope you don't mind me asking you, the origin of is it barbed wire you have on your leg as a tattoo?
Yeah.
Do you mind talking about that?
No, I don't. That's a good, unique question there. So the origin of it is fairly straightforward there. Like a 16-year-old kid that thought he was cool. You know, there's no other way around it. Like, I don't know why barbed wire. I remember getting a good bit of abuse, or jibing as we call it there, when I went back to the club playing football. The coaches said I look like, I think is it Pamela Anderson that has
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got my fair share of abuse for it anyway. But yeah, look, I just thought I was a captain of the cool kids back in the day, and then ever since I've looked at it a good few times and be like, I can cover that now, you know. And like I've got a few other tattoos on my back and stuff, and I've said it loads of times. I'll cover it. I'll cover it. I'll cover it. But I can't. I just can't do it. Like it's a memory. Do you know what I mean? And as daft and all as it looks, it's like it's part of who I was 12 years ago. So like I don't really want to lose it, as daft and all as it may look or seem. It's part of history, you know. And I remember the day. I remember nearly passing out, like, or, you know. So that's
what did
the
your
origin.
parents think when you came home with it?
Huh?
What did your parents think when you came home with it?
Ah, they're all right there. I mean, man, like, it was on your leg there. You're well able to hide it for a substantial amount of time. I actually can't recall them going too wild about it now. They obviously weren't thrilled there, but it wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah, and you often hear that when someone gets one tattoo, they get quite addicted to it, that it becomes like, I don't know, art on their body or so on. You mentioned it on your back. Are they also just pretty much hidden out of the way?
Yeah, my back there, I just done little bits and pieces, I suppose, like over the years. It's just more personal memoirs, I suppose, there with a kind of bit of an imagery around it. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. Every once in a while you take a notion. There's no great plotting or planning to it, like some people do when they do the big, you know, fancy art and have a full plan for the arm and the chest or whatever. I just somewhat take notions.
Yeah, it does sound like that. I'm wondering with with Western Care and that fundraising you did to open up a sensory park in Ballina, and I think you raised 50,000 quid there. Did that just come as a notion and then you just followed through? I hear that you once went for, a 5K run or whatever for the team and ended up doing a marathon. So it seems that you just do stuff on the spur of the moment.
Jeez, you've done some serious research. I give you that. Tell you, I ran a marathon in lockdown because I never ran a marathon before. It was a Sunday evening, and I just that was a bit of a notion. But I got it done, so I don't ever have to run one again, nor do I intend to. But no, the fundraising and stuff, no. So like I work with Western Care Association. I also work with Mayo Mental Health Association. So I work with some of the probably more vulnerable groups in the community, people who find themselves challenged and maybe with less opportunity than most. So I'm very passionate about what I do. Like it's a big part of who I am. So I set up a community group alongside a mate. We co-founded Flow Community Project, which is based around creating a more inclusive community. Exactly what's here on the top about including everybody. And that's why I'm like really, really happy to sit down and work with SuperValu on this. Like it's a real passion of mine. So what we done, on our own back as community work, we provided workshops and events and discos for the neurodivergent community. It's the first time it was ever done around our community, and it was brilliant. Like it was a huge success. And then COVID struck, so we couldn't do it. So me and my partner Ryan, we set our eyes on a sensory park, and we did fundraise. We've raised nearly 190,000 now at this stage. But the money is the easy side of it. Like we've put in maybe nearly 2 years now of work on this, hundreds of hours, couldn't even count the hours, in relation to research, getting specialist groups, planning, plotting, working with all the stakeholders. It's a huge project, but like it is really important. I would have given up on it a long time ago if it was just a notion. Like that actually, it's in my heart, like, and it really matters to us. So like, it's right in line with what SuperValu are talking about here today, and this community includes everyone. So like that's definitely not a notion. That's my baby, like, and it's a huge part of like our community groups working together. It's one of the biggest projects in Ballina, I suppose, ever. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, geez, I hope you don't think I meant that it was that I was downplaying it.
No, not at all, not at all. No, I just wanted to kind of give perspective to it. I suppose like there's so many people that have got together on this. It's massive. Like it's very interesting to see all different groups work together. You usually see people maybe have ownership and they clash. So what we've done is we've brought in everybody, all the expertise. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's very much a community project. It's just a wonderful thing to be part of. Like,
yeah. And then how much of a part of life is football for you, and how important is that to you? Because it's not like, I think you're a dad, you have this going on. It sounds like you've plenty going on. So how important is football to you?
Yeah, I have a wild amount of stuff going on. But like, I think, like I said to you earlier, I'm a bit giddy. Like I run at higher octane than most, and sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But football is everything when it's on. You know, it is everything. I put pretty much everything else to the side to some degree. I suppose it's all about time and energy management, isn't it? Like, so when we're in the thick of the football, I have to plug some energy away from, say, the community work. So I would have been less active over the last 4 months in relation to that, because that energy and time has gone into the football. My family and kids, they have to pay a small price for that too. You know, I have to take a bit of time from there. So it's about balance, I suppose. But when the football is on, I'm fully locked on. It's all football. I suppose it's just getting the balance. It can be really difficult at times. Like, I find it quite hard sometimes to make time for family and friends. It's something I probably need to improve on. It's quite challenging, there's no doubt, but it can be managed.
Well, look, fair play to you. And look, it was great chatting to you, Padraig, and hopefully we'll again in the future. And best of luck for the year ahead.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for